Hello everyone, and thank you for joining me on another video. We're going to be going through Westfall today. While not exactly an exciting zone, I do sort of enjoy its simplicity, and it goes by fairly quick. Most of the quests are really straightforward, there's not much backtracking. One of the exceptions being, of course, the Captain Sanders quest, but that's usually no big deal, and generally is optional, but not for us this time.
King's honor, friend. Be careful.
I spent a lot of time in here, in the zone when I was a kid. It has high roleplay potential. You know, there's plenty of college RPs that go on in Westfall. Not that I partook in any. I believe I mentioned last episode about my friend and I's temporary breakup due to a online girlfriend relationship when I was like 10, maybe it was like 9 or 10 or something like that. We met in this in Westfall, and I was playing my fucking Death Knight named Wyo, which was based off of the video I saw, Who's the Tank, but who was taken. And I was like, well, what other than who but why? And of course, why was taken, so I went with Y-O, with a Y with an O at the end. I thought I was really clever. And this quest seemed to have gotten some improvement from its classic version, like all the quests really, but I could not stand the equivalent. Westfall itself, they went from a really annoying zone to a very tolerable zone. I've actually gotten so much into this character that I'm getting a little ahead of myself. I've recorded more footage. I've gotten through Red Ridge. I think I'm starting on Duskwood at the moment. But yeah, I'm loving this so far. There's something about optimizing your speed that is entertaining. And before, I held myself down by like, I gotta read all the quests, I gotta understand the lore, I gotta do this, I gotta do that. But like, I've done this for so long that like, I can tell where I'm in the story just based on where I'm questing in the zone and what quests I'm picking up. Which does make playing it like this a lot more entertaining. I've had to sort of separate myself from the character in the world and sort of come to a conclusion that I want to see character progression physically, well, on the screen, you know, with my armor changing. I want to get into Molten Core, get that armor, sort of experience that in a weird pseudo going up the expansions way. I think I sort of picked that up. I was never really into anything like that until recently. And I think that has a lot to do with my raiding in Wrath of the Lich King. I had never raided before, besides a little bit at the end of Legion, when I raided on my Torn and boosted monk. I actually got really lucky. I think I got in a guild called Invalid Target, which I thought was a clever name, and yeah, it was one of those like random invites that you just like used to annoy the shit out of you, that you don't really get too much anymore. But yeah, it turned out to be a guild that ended up working out, and that's really all guilds are. It's a lot of luck, you know. You luck upon good players that stick around, and once you have a good base going, then usually you can continue until at least the middle or end of the expansion. It takes a lot of work. It takes a lot of effort. But yeah, you never. Sometimes you don't realize how much effort actually goes into something, and I didn't realize that until I started my own guild. And holy hell, is it rough sometimes. You know, you gotta rely on people to show up. You gotta rely on people not to quit with the gear you give them. You gotta hope people get along, and oftentimes they don't, but they just tolerate each other. Sometimes they can't tolerate each other. And I had never realized that because I was only in that guild for a short period of time. I was like, I don't know, 16 years old. I just thought it was a group of people who hung out, who liked each other, you know, and not much more than that went into it. They did loot council after each boss, which kind of slowed things down, but I think we currently run That's My Best, which helps out a bit. I haven't really had any issues. We actually had a lot of issues in the beginning. You know, with my inexperience, I didn't notice a lot of things. Recruiting was awful. The people we got were awful for the most part. And we went through like almost every loot system besides DKP. Still haven't touched DKP. First we started with main spec over off spec, then added +1. People started saving their +1s for loot that they really wanted, and ignored all their other loot that they still needed, and then complained that they weren't getting loot that they needed, which is just silly. So we moved off of that into hard reserve plus main spec over off spec, which I didn't know about soft reserve until a little bit after that, which we quickly moved over to. And then going into Ulduar, we switched over to That's My Best, which I fucked up again because I didn't use the wishlist system. I just sort of put people in spots that I thought made sense, you know, for what's best for this class, what's best for that class. So it became a clusterfuck when we had to replace people. Which, you know, you have to do often. You're pretty much constantly recruiting. We've actually come across some really good consistent players. We work with a 10-man guild when it comes to our 25-man guild raids. Yeah, so far it's been successful. I don't think I want to do it again. It's definitely a lot of work, and I'd rather put time into other things. But I love, you know, talking to the people that are in my guild and have been in my guild for a really long time. It's nice having a community that you can sort of fall back into, have a routine. I remember doing the Westfall quest for the first time. I'm a quest reader by nature, but not for this playthrough, of course. And whenever the reveal, I was young. Alright, so the reveal that she was his fucking daughter was just absolutely wild to me. I thought that was crazy. And then when you fight her in the dead mines, that was crazy too. For me, when I was like young, but I actually get really overzealous. I thought I could cleave down all these enemies, but I pulled more than I could obviously handle. I think if I had Die by the Sword and maybe pain suppression, I can't remember. I know it's not pain suppression. That's a priest thing, I think, but I'm sure you guys know what I'm talking about. I think I could have made it, but not here. Not at the level I'm currently at. Yeah, I mean, on the topic of Wrath again, It was completely out of the blue. You know, my friend and I just were looking for something to do together, so we leveled characters on a Wrath Fresh server called Maladav. It's kind of dead now, but it was popping whenever people were leveling, and that was super fun to experience a fresh server like that. I didn't play through Classic, I didn't play through TBC Classic, so getting that Wrath Lich King fresh server experience was wild. We met a lot of our longtime members at the start there. Some of them are still around. It's nice to have that familiarity, because part of running a guild, you know, it's like you put a lot of effort into something, but a lot of the people who used to be there aren't there anymore, so you really only have new people. So having those old-time players, long-time people, really helps in motivation, I think. I think the hope is that by ICC, you know, we have like a cemented group of people where everyone likes each other and there's no issues. That's the dream. I think I've gotten a little more efficient at then clearing out these zones. I know Westfall is only my second, but I picked up a few tricks just by doing Elven Forest. You know, I'm pulling way more than I ever usually do because I'm playing Arms Warrior. Arms has a really good cleave, so like if I use my cleave ability there, a 30-second cooldown, and I get somebody down to execute, I can just spam execute and just damage the entire group for quite a large amount. I decided just to skip forward to this. There's not much to see, just going up into a tower and watching a little bit of a cutscene. It's an interesting quest. There's a lot of lore here in Westfall. If you haven't experienced it yourself, definitely check it out. You know, read the quest. Reading the quest it's actually kind of fun because the writers are funny sometimes. Sometimes they go a little bit overboard, like in the case of Red Ridge, which I think is a little too silly. It's just a massive reference. I always think it's wild. I never realized when I was younger that a lot of these buildings are just copies of each other, and upon realizing that, it's just absolutely wild. It's sort of like if you've ever played Zombie Army Trilogy. It's made by the same people who make what is that? Sniper Elite. And a lot of the buildings in Zombie Army Trilogy are Sniper Elite buildings that have been retextured to be broken down, and it's actually hard to notice. And in this case, it's not so hard to notice because this is literally like the Goldshire Inn, or really any inn that a human inn. Last video I had some audio issues. It was a little nervous, to be honest, and I was kind of whisper talking, so I had to boost my volume. I'm hoping I don't have that issue this time. Going to the dead mines here, the walk is so beautiful. I think it's one of my favorite walks to a dungeon. You know, you just have all the people on the side, the well-textured mine. There's so many rare enemies. There's just a lot to take in here if you want to give it the time to do so. Recently I found things that I thought took a long time don't really take all that long. Like, there was a time when I thought this walk was just forever, but really it's not. And I think what also helps is when you're recording it, you can see how long you've been recording, and you just sort of realize that it's only been like less than a minute, and I'm already almost there. Here we are the next day. Ran out of time. Had to. I was intending to gather more enemies here, but I didn't realize. I didn't think about how they had castables, so they probably wouldn't follow me. They'd just help me from afar, and I'd probably die. I do wish they had more treasure hunts in the game. Like Captain Sanders' treasure hunt, while a little bit long, the first time you do it is a lot of fun. And even the times after, the rewards it gives you, like I think the bar, I think it gives you a bag and a shirt. That's just really nice flavor. It just feels cool to get on any character. Sometimes you'll notice me not paying attention to elite mobs, and that's if I'm kind of in a hurry, but sometimes I like to give them a try, because if I'm not mistaken, they give about as much XP as almost as much XP as a quest, a portion of it. So they're a lot of times worth doing. Especially since after the kind of revamp, the elite mobs, rather the rare mobs, are usually around your quest objective. This was a close call. I'm not gonna lie, I didn't realize the crabs were gonna aggro. I should have, because of the hunters. I've been getting a lot of motivation. Not only recording and then posting gives motivation, but also just imagining myself, my character, having completed a lot of content and wearing its current content. Not WoW's current content, but the character's current content. Which is sort of exciting to me. This is the location of the quest that you do for Children's Week? Children's Month? Can't remember. Either way, I think it's the human, though I could be wrong. I think it's the human orphan that you bring here and you just ride a motorcycle around this tornado. Some crazy shit like that. Children's Week is my favorite in-game holiday, just because it feels really cool. It makes me feel like I'm part of the world a little bit, and also the pet rewards are nice. It's a long haul achievement though. for sure. This quest is just fun. I mean, you just go around smacking these Harvest Reapers. You could slow down, and I have to. Sometimes when it's on cooldown, you sort of have to use your first ability, which just kind of sucks. But when it goes back up, you just start blasting. If you pull them together, it goes by quick. Especially if you wait to do the Captain Sanders quest, you can actually use this little trick that I do here, which is just the speed boost. It's 100% compared to, you know, if you have a 60% mount at the time. It does drop off if you get too far away, but the 40% extra speed sort of makes up for it. And now the worst part. I hate going through water. It is absolutely awful. Luckily, as a warrior, I can leap forward in the water, but that can only help so much. So I'm just gonna speed it up for you guys. I'll make you sit through it, but it'll be quicker. If only I swam this fast in game. What was like 2 minutes in game time, maybe like 30 seconds.
Need help? Be careful.
We're already swiftly approaching the end. I've noticed I don't use my battle shout. Normally I would notice something like that, but killing mobs has just been so easy.
What can I do for you? See you?
I'm about to get one of my favorite quest rewards. I'll be honest, I will go sometime not accepting weapon quest rewards just so I can continue to use this one. I was also unaware of this quest, but I went ahead and read it, picked it up, because it looks like it'll be in the zone that we're going to do eventually. You can just put it on the back burner. I mean, look at that sword. I mean, it's not the best looking sword. It's kind of huge and blocky, but the context behind it just feels really cool. Now we're just sort of cleaning things up. I'm gonna start heading to Red Ridge now. Actually get a decent way away from Goldshire before I realize it's probably quicker just to fly to the lodge. Right about now, and then I turn around. While not necessary, there was plenty of time left in the video, and I wanted to show myself going through this log, because nothing feels more fantasy than riding your warhorse through a fallen, hollowed out log. Now leaving Elwyn and Westfall behind, we head towards Red Ridge, which I will be honest, is one of my least favorite zones. It has some issues that I will probably get into on the next episode. Thank you very much for watching, and I hope you all have a nice one.